What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport, and welcome back to the continuation of working on our W140 suspension components. So I've went ahead and ordered in the sway bar link and the control arm ball joints that go on the lower. And if you didn't see that last video, we'll walk inside in a second. I'll show you guys something pretty cool because I figured out exactly what went wrong with that ball joint. But I wanted to show you this. Zay's over here working on the E500. This has been a while since we've shown this car. He picked this thing up. It basically came free because he got rims, he got suspension components, and he's finally getting around to removing the shocks out that are completely blown, and he's going to be swapping in the air shocks that came with this car, almost the value of the car, and he's going to be putting these ones in really nice air shocks from AirTech. So we'll probably be doing a video on that very soon, but today the focus is on the W140, so let's step inside. So on the last video, the issue I ran into was we stripped out the ball joint. We weren't even going to change out the ball joints, but I'm very, very glad I did, because once you have those lower control arms out, it is very easy to change these ball joints. So if you're doing the lower control arms, I highly suggest swapping out your ball joints. These were not expensive. I got Mile, which are very good ones, and they were like 23 bucks a piece on FCP Euro. And if you know FCP Euro, you get a lifetime warranty. And the sway bar links are the w140, which is a very good brand, by far the best brand that I've seen for suspension components for these bends. But both are very, very good brands, and they both obviously come with that lifetime warranty. Now, I'm going to pull this one out so you guys can take a look at it. It doesn't matter which one, there's no left or right for this, so you just buy the one part, and the part number is going to be right there. I will also link it in the description. But this is how they come, very nicely made. They seem very sturdy. They actually look a lot better than what was in there. But you guys had pointed out in the comments that somebody probably damaged this ball joint in the past. And I thought, they look stock, they don't look like they were taken out. And then I remembered, wait a second, I had a shop take the lower control arms out to pull my springs out to see what size the cushion was up top. And I remembered they were not the best mechanics, let me put it this way. They were great guys, but they didn't really ever work on bends, and I don't know why I had them do this, but they banged, obviously, to get this thing out, and I thought, man, they probably missed and hit this, and sure enough, when you look at it, it's really going to be hard to tell on camera, but this is slightly bent out of whack. And what was happening was I was either cross-threading or this was just not compressing properly or not seating. As soon as I slid this new one in, because I've already finished off the side that we were doing on the last video, it went right in, torqued itself down, and was really good. So now I'm going to show you guys on this side how to change out the sway bar link, how to add in your ball joint, and just kind of tidy everything up, how to torque everything down, and how to put your spring back in, because I showed you guys in the last video how to compress it, and today I'll show you how to make sure everything's in there properly so it's safe and you can let the spring release and go into there. I said this on the last video, this is a very dangerous job because you do have to compress the spring, so I highly suggest you get these things done at a shop. But if you're willing to take a jive at doing this yourself, make sure you get the proper tools, you're set up, and you understand how dangerous this can be. With all that out of the way, let's get going. So guys, we're going to go ahead and start with the sway bar link on this video. Now keep in mind, you do have a left and right side. The one we're putting on is the left side, that's the part number there. I'll link the part number for the right side. So passenger side is this one here in the US. Obviously outside the country, it's going to be the left side or the passenger side for you guys. But this is our driver's side in the US. We're going to go ahead and put that one on, and we have to take our calipers off here and our rotor off. So you want to take off, this is 19mm 2 bolts in the back, and then you've got, like, I think a 5mm Allen key here, and this will slide off. I'm going to show you guys live so you guys can see exactly how it comes off. So the two 19mm bolts back here. Alright, we're going to slide this off, and then you want to try to rest it up in here, grab yourself a bungee cord and hold it in there, and then you're going to come around to the front, and we're going to get that Allen key bolt. Let me go grab the Allen key for that. Okay, should be pretty easy to take off. And now we should be able to just pull our rotor off. Unless you didn't have anti-seize on there and you're up north, sometimes they get a little tough to get off. And now what we're going to do is there's a bolt right here that is holding in the upper part of our sway bar link, 17 millimeter. We go ahead and grab that and we'll get that out. All right, get our 17 millimeter up in there. Okay, that just came out. Right, now what we need to do is get the lower portion of this. I need to move this out of the way. But our lower portion is, I think, a 19 millimeter. And sometimes if the center spins, you've got an Allen key in the middle. I think it's 5 millimeters as well. So you're going to have to use an open end wrench and put the Allen key in to hold it. I don't know if I'm going to have to do that since I'm using an impact. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up for that. That should slide off, and we'll slide our new one in. And they come with new nuts, so that's pretty good. Just make sure your 17 millimeter post is on the top and your 19 is on the bottom, because you won't be able to do it reverse. I'll show you guys that too. And here's our lower bolt right here connected to our sway bar. So we'll go ahead and get that off. And you can see it spinning, so what I'm going to have to do now is grab that Allen key and put it right in the center here. Actually, it's a bigger Allen key on this one, so I think it's good. This is a 5 millimeter, I believe. I'm going to go see what size that is. We'll stick it in the middle, and we'll use our open end 19 millimeter to get that off. And it is a 6 millimeter Allen key, so you just want to get your open end wrench on there, and you're going to hold it with the Allen key. It's going to take a little bit longer than with that impact wrench, but it'll still come off. This out to show you guys how bad this one is and why we're changing it. So originally we were not going to change out our sway bar linkages because I just didn't want to have to take the brakes off when I was in there, and since I had to wait for other components, I saw how bad these were on the other side, but this side is actually way worse. I mean, there's nothing to them. They're all completely cracked open. They're not doing anything. I mean, if you look at this part here, it's just wiggling around. Probably not the cause of the vibration, but it's certainly going to help changing every component. And I've told you guys, we're going to change every component on this car one step at a time. We're going to move on to the next step. We did upper control arms in past videos. We did the tie rods. Now we're doing lower control arms, ball joints, and sway bar links. And like I said, we'll just keep moving on. So let's get set up now to put the other one back in. And then we'll move on to taking out our lower control arms, ball joints, and putting those in. All right, remember earlier I said make sure you've got your 19 millimeter lower part and your 17 millimeter post on the bottom part. You can tell this is a lot thinner than this. It's hard to tell on the camera, but this one's definitely the upper part. You may need to turn your wheel to get it to line up. I even had to put like a bar into the sway bar and push it up as I slid the bottom part in. Just take your time, it'll slide in, and then you're going to torque your bolts down. So I believe what I found online is for the 19 millimeter side, it's 100 Newton meters, like 73 foot-pounds, and I didn't find anything for the upper, but I just hand tightened that as tight as I could, because mine actually on the other side spun a little bit, and I put an Allen key in, and I could only get some needle nose vice grips in there just because of the way that it goes in, and I just tightened it as tight as I could get it, and I want to say I was about 50 foot-pounds inside. So let's go ahead and get it back on, and I'll tighten it down. I'm going to do a 73 foot-pounds on this side, and then this one's going to be as tight as I can get it. Now I'm going to start with this upper section because you want to make sure you get this in first. This is going to be the harder one to line up. Now I just had to take this center part here. This will slide around this little bracket. I'm going to push it in, line it up right, and then from the back side, yeah, it's spinning. Is to have the vice grip hold the bolt and turn the Allen key, which is going to be an opposite way to turn. It's going to take a while, but it's going to tighten up. So that's my quick fill-in. I'm going to be sitting here for a little while doing this. Alright, found a way to leverage the Allen key I have here, and it's getting tight. So I think I'm right about where I need to be. Yeah, that's about as tight as it's gonna get right there, and that's a good amount of torque. So I'm happy with that. Move on to the bottom one. We might run into the same issue, but it's gonna be a lot easier to get to that one. So guys, we are finally at the same point where the last video left off, which means we've removed our spring, our lower control arm, and now we need to access the ball joint, which is where we had an issue last video. So we're going to be replacing these like we mentioned. This is a 27mm bolt. I had to turn the wheel to access it. Now to knock our ball joint loose, we're just going to take a big hammer and whack on the end where the bolt was, and that should go flying out. So let's go ahead and get set up. So guys, installing our new ball joint is pretty simple. It's going to slide right in. You're going to see this little post right here is going to line up into the hole for it. Torque specs on the larger bolt is going to be 140 Newton meters, 103 foot-pounds. Smaller bolt, about 100 Newton meters, or I think 73 foot-pounds is what that comes to. I'll put it on the screen. I'll put it in the comments as well so you guys can get that. And these were all just taken off of a forum, so you might want to double check and verify those, but they sound to be correct, considering all the other components on here were similar torque specs too. So we're just going to go ahead and slide in our new ball joint, and I'm going to come around the other side just to make sure my post went in, and that slides in really easily, really nicely. And then our big bolt's going to go over top right there, and we're going to torque that down, like I said, 140 Newton meters. And then this upper bolt's going to go on once we slide our lower control arm on. Okay, so now all we gotta do is go ahead and torque down our ball joint. Remember, it's about 103 foot-pounds on this side, the bigger bolt, and 73 foot-pounds on the other side. That's 140 Newton meters and 100 Newton meters. I'll put all that in the description, and I'll put the torque specs for the control arms and all of that in the description as well. Alright guys, so she is all back together, and I'm really glad I was able to do those ball joints for you. I'm glad I did them myself, because while you're in there doing the control arms, the lower ones, you might as well do the ball joints. There's a few other things that I'm going to end up doing off camera. I'm going to change out the upper control arm on our driver's side, because I already have a video doing it on the passenger side, and I was looking at it and it is not good. Now, upcoming videos, I have a transmission leak that I noticed when we have this thing up in the air on the jack stands. I let it sit for a few days, obviously waiting on parts, and I noticed there was a spot, and I got up under there and saw it was coming from, looked like the pan. Now, with that said, a few days prior to that, or a few weeks ago when I was driving it, I noticed the car was downshifting, and I figured it was going to be a vacuum line, because I've had that happen before, but it wasn't. I checked the vacuum line, so it is a deeper situation, but we're going to tackle that in an upcoming video where we're going to drop the transmission pan, change out the fluid, and do a refresh on that, and hopefully we can fix it by putting a new gasket in there. And outside of that, I have my oil light on, which should be the oil level sensor, and we're probably going to end up doing a video on that, because I know a lot of people out there, including Zay's Mercedes, have their oil light on, and it's just it should be an easy fix, and we should be able to get that thing working properly again. And thanks again, guys, for joining me on this journey to see if we can fix the vibration issue that's on my W140. And like I've said, we're going to change out every suspension component. I will update you after changing out each component. So all I got to do now is get that upper control arm put in, take it down, get an alignment done, and I'll do a update before we do the next video. You guys have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I'll catch you on the next video. And don't show any fear.